Hello friends, welcome to youtube.com oblique Dr. V channel. In this channel we are presenting lectures in veterinary science and animal husbandry. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professional Head. Here we discuss important disease of respiratory system, that is tracheobronchitis in animal. In part 2, we discuss pathogenesis and clinical findings of tracheobronchitis in animals. Pathogenesis of tracheobronchitis. In acute cases, there is inflammation of mucous membrane of trachea and bronchi. Most common causes are virus and bacteria. There is congestion and thickening of the mucous membrane because of the inflammation. Infiltration of inflammatory cells, especially in viral and bacterial infection, more prominently observed, and overproduction of secretion in air passage depending on the severity of inflammation and type of etiology. Continue with the pathogenesis of acute cases. The secretion may be either serous, mucoid, mucopurulent or purulent depending on the inflammatory process and type of infection. Initially in acute inflammation, for 2 or 3 days there is serous type of the secretion. Then the charge is taken over by the bacterial infection, so there is mucus with some purulent foci, and after few days, about 5 to 7 days, when there is prominent bacterial infection, the secretion is purulent. So secretion depends on inflammatory process and type of infection. In severe cases, there is destruction of the epithelial cells, secretory cells, and whole mucous membrane is covered by inflammatory exudate. Maybe very thin or thick, maybe a serous, maybe a mucoid, maybe a purulent. Continue with the pathogenesis of acute cases. There is plenty of exudation, maybe plenty of catalar type, maybe fibrinous type depending on the infection and damage. If severe bacterial infection, that it may be a purulent. Characteristic finding is dyspnea, and that dyspnea is because of the narrowing of the passage of the air or the partial obstruction of air passage. Partial obstruction of air passage is due to inflammation, exudation, and destruction of epithelial cells in the passage. So they cause narrowing of the passage and leads to a characteristic symptom, that is dyspnea. When there is a destruction of epithelial cells, along with there is exudation, and due to partial obstruction of the air, when air flows in and flows out, expiration and inspiration, it sets in the motion of the secretion. When there is motion, there is irritation. Movement of secretion and movement of air both causes irritation, and that results in developing of the coughing reflex. We call it as a cough, and that expels the phlegm outside the respiratory system. Continuation of pathogenesis of chronic cases, the severe inflammation and death of the epithelial cells. Slowly there is hypertrophy of the goblet cells of trachea and bronchi. Because of this hypertrophy, there is excessive mucus secretion in the respiratory tract. The inflammation characteristic is edema and swelling of the mucosa. And because of the mostly infection, bacterial and sometimes viral, there is inflammatory cell infiltration of the nasal passage. When the case becomes chronic, then there is more inflammatory cell infiltration in the tract. In chronic cases also, there is narrowing of the passage of the bronchi. That is one due to inflammation, second due to edema, third due to over-secretion present into the trachea and bronchi. Now this results abnormal breathing sounds because air has to pass through narrow opening and it produces sound. The another thing is that when there is excessive secretion, there is a movement in this exudation to and fro during inspiration and expiration, and that produces sound. It is called as moist rills. Moist rills suggest secretion. This sound can be heard very nicely on auscultation of the lung area or chest area. Because of the narrowing of the passage, there is dyspnea. As the time passes, there is extension of infection from bronchi to bronchioles and then finally to the lung parenchyma, and that produce a pneumonia, and animal exhibits a pneumonia signs. Friends, here we see clinical signs of tracheobronchitis. The clinical signs may be acute or chronic. Cough is the prominent sign of tracheobronchitis. The cough is a gagging cough. It is initially a dry, non-productive. What is gagging cough? Gagging shows that the cough is such type that animal exhibit continuous coughing, that something is caught in the airways and animal try to get avoid. That is gagging. It is a loud coughing and it is a dramatic skin. The important signs of this chronic tracheobronchitis is spasms of coughing, continuous coughing, spasms, severe coughing after rest, during morning hours, variation of environment, or spasms of coughing at the start of the exercise. This is due to accumulation of phlegm into the trachea and bronchi. So when the cough moves up because of the ciliary movement, so that cough induces a coughing reflex, and such coughing is observed after rest, during morning hours, variation of temperature, and at the start of exercise. So here important sign is the spasms of coughing, and that is due to presence of phlegm into the bronchi and bronchioles. Continuation of clinical signs. Similarly, there is nasal discharge also that accompany the tracheobronchitis. Initially mucoid, more of mucus type, then bacterial infection set in, so mucus and purulent combine together, mucopurulent. Finally, the multiplication of the bacterial population cause the nasal discharge more purulent. As the case advances, the nasal discharge become from mucoid to purulent. Because of the pain, because of irritation, because of the feeling of something clogged into the mouth, and because of the narrowing of the passage, the animal extends head and neck for two reasons: for the ease of respiration and to avoid irritation and pain in the respiratory tract. The mouth breathing in severe cases, because animals are hungering for the oxygen. Because of this infection, there is anorexia. Body temperature may be slightly high, maybe because of viral or bacterial infection. Continuation with the clinical signs. The type of fever and the degree of fever depend upon the type of infection and duration of infection. There is severe depression. Characteristic is that if the clinician palpates the trachea, difficult to palpate the bronchi, but just pressure on the chest may cause induction of the cough. So palpation of trachea induces coughing reflex. On auscultation of the lungs and trachea, there is harsh sound. That is because of inflammation and exudation and narrowing of the passage. In advanced cases, there is more secretion. Secretion may be more thick, and that secretion moving to and fro because of the inspiration and expiration. So it produces a characteristic moist rills. Rills are nothing but that is movement of exudation to and fro in the respiratory tract. There is inspiratory crackles, again that is because of the secretion, and expiratory whiz sound because of the narrowing of the passage of the respiratory tract. Continuation with the clinical signs. The acute stage of bronchitis passes away in 2 to 3 days if there is not much complication to the chronic bronchitis, or sometimes there is cure. There is extension of infection even to the lungs and may cause a pneumonia. An animal exhibits a characteristic signs of the pneumonia. There is a persistent cough for a month, and the cough is productive if the case becomes chronic. In feline bronchial asthma in cats, the asthma is such a severe that the clinical signs is cyanosis, there is bluishness of the body, especially face, and there is severe dyspnea when there is asthma attack. And if the clinician examines the blood sample, there is eosinophilia, that is diagnostic of feline bronchial asthma. It is an allergic condition. It is prudent to mention here clinical signs of the kennel cough. Introduction and etiology we have already seen. The main symptom is cough and fast spread in the kennel. So within few days, large number of the dogs suffer from cough. That is called as kennel cough. First, the respiratory tract damaged by the viruses, we have already seen. Then infection, Bordetella bronchoseptica bacterial infection. That causes kennel cough. The prominent clinical signs of the kennel cough is paroxysms of harsh, dry coughing. Initially, paroxysm means all of a sudden abrupt attack, coughing again and again, and it is very harsh, gagging type. Initially it is dry, and that cough is followed by retching movement, that animal try to exhibit out the something clogged into the respiratory system, and gagging. What is gagging we have already seen, that animal try to throw away, that something is caught in the respiratory tract. Cough is even induced by a gentle palpation over the larynx or tracheal area. That is one because of the irritation, and second presence of the secretion. And inflammation is such, bacterial inflammation, that even a slight pressure may induce a pain and irritation in the respiratory tract, and that induces a cough reflex. Continuation of the clinical signs of the kennel cough. Because of the stress of infection, there is partial anorexia and depression. Because of the bacterial infection, there is purulent nasal discharge. Initially the cough is dry, but later on it becomes productive because of the mucus secretion. And kennel cough is the complication of distemper or bronchopneumonia. So first, the virus or any other agent attack on the mucous membrane of trachea or bronchi, they damage it, and then the Bordetella bronchoseptica bacteria sets in, and that produces kennel cough, and it will fast spread into the several dogs of the kennel. All dogs of the kennel start coughing. That is the characteristic of the kennel cough. Veterinary friends and veterinary students are requested to share this information to veterinarians and veterinary students. Subscribe the channel to promote the channel. Press bell button to get a notification. If you like, press like button. Thank you very much for observing this video. Next time we'll come with diagnosis and treatment of tracheobronchitis. Thanks.